Welcome to World of Marketing Podcast, a Foster Web Marketing production. Here's your host, Tom Foster.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the World of Marketing, where I talk with industry leaders about marketing mindset and business growth. This episode is brought to you by my own company, Foster Web Marketing. Foster Web Marketing is your secret weapon for better clients. Our award-winning marketing and systems solution sets us apart from everyone else. Please go to our website at Foster Web Marketing to learn more about marketing that works for your business, medical practice, or law firm. Today, my guest is Chad Rubin of Profasee. Profasee is a cool name for a company, and they do cool things like they're able to predict the perfect price every time. And I predict we're going to find out exactly what that means here, Chad. Incredibly, Profasee's dynamic pricing platform enables Amazon brands to predict the perfect price for every product at each precise moment. Chad leads Profasee's operations and oversees its strategy. He often speaks about e-commerce, Amazon, and leveraging AI strategies on webinars and conferences worldwide. He's also the author of the Amazon bestseller, Cheaper, Easier, Direct. Prior to Profasee, he founded Think Crucial and co-founded Skubana, hope I said that right, and The Prosperous Show. He's also a father, husband, and loves coffee and tacos. So, Chad, welcome to the World of Marketing, buddy.
Thank you for having me on.
And shout out to our friend Jeremy, Dr. Jeremy Weiss, who introduced us. Thank you so much, Jeremy, for doing that.
What a great human.
Right, isn't he? He's the best. So, Chad, and by the way, my brother's name is Chad, so this is easy, right? Tell me about, what is Profasee?
So Profasee is now my fourth company that I've started. And Profasee is sort of like...
First of all, by the way, entrepreneur, from one entrepreneur to the other, awesome job.
A lot of hard work, a lot of mistakes, a lot of pain.
Yeah, right?
So I've been in e-commerce for 15 years. And after I sold Skubana last April of 21, I was staring at a tree and trying to turn around my e-commerce business that was still around today. And so I was wondering how to do that. And so one of the challenges I stumbled across was around pricing. It's very infrequent that people change price on Amazon, even though it's a fast-driven marketplace. So we have built an algorithm, an AI, if you will, that dynamically changes price for Amazon brands automatically. Kind of like Uber surge pricing. Have you ever taken a car, an Uber or a Lyft, and the price changes in the morning versus the afternoon or nighttime? Mm-hmm. We're doing that same thing for product-based businesses on Amazon.
How
are we doing? Well, we built a model, and essentially there's so much data to consume that a human just can't do it. So The beautiful thing about AI, and I know AI is like a buzz term right now, but real AI can observe and experiment and learn. And it can do this independent of me and my brain or figuring out if-then statements or rules to make that happen. And it'll actually automatically figure out what is the optimal price based on all the signals that are coming in and keep doing that automatically for you.
Wow. Well, how do you get clients and customers to understand this concept?
So I would say it's, since AI has gotten mainstream with ChatGPT specifically, it's been like, I was onto AI when everybody was onto NFTs and Web3, the whole Bitcoin revolution. That for me just never like touched me the way that AI does and did when I first started reading about it. And so with ChatGPT, it's been able to be self-evident, right? People are now starting to understand like what really the power of AI is. It was very nebulous. And now they're like, wait a minute, this can do this. Well, imagine like what else this thing can do. So the way I explain it is really the way I explained it to you, which is like Uber surge pricing, right? Uber automatically changes price based on demand and supply. And we do that. We pull in a lot of other variables into an algorithm. And the algorithm creates its own if-then statements to optimize for the outcome that we want to achieve, which in this case is maximizing profit for an Amazon brand.
And so then how are you able to attract, when I'm asking from a marketing standpoint, Chad, how are you able to attract clients to your platform?
So one of the things I'm very good at is marketing. It's something that I love doing. I love
That's why you're here on this program, buddy.
I love figuring it out. So, and what used to work for my previous companies is different from now. But right now, my main marketing approaches have been podcasts and, believe it or not, LinkedIn and Twitter. Those three channels, that's it.
Get people to talk about, get people to understand this.
Well,
it's very compelling.
Well, LinkedIn for me was someone challenged me a couple months ago, and someone said, "Hey, Chad, I wanna start posting on LinkedIn, and I want to post every day for the next 30 days." It was like a 30-day challenge, and I was like, I don't know, 30-day challenges. It's all about quantity versus quality. What if I just commit to 2 days a week I post on LinkedIn? So I started posting on LinkedIn, and like signups started pouring in. So now I've really developed an audience. I've got about 30,000 people following me on LinkedIn, and I'm just posting a cadence of like growth nuggets, right? Things that people find valuable, giveaways that I create, some stories that are personal, and with some essence of AI and Profasee in the mix.
That's very good.
Yeah.
How did you get started?
With Profasee, or just like in general?
Like, how did you get started in general? Like, how did you get?
I got fired from my job Friday the 13th, 2009. I was on Wall Street, and my
what were you
father.
Doing? What do you mean? You're a stock guy?
I was advising institutional investors to buy, sell, or short stocks.
How old were you?
I was just out of school. I was probably 23, 24.
Mm-hmm.
And my father growing up had a vacuum cleaner business. He would repair and sell vacuums. So firstly, I never wanted to be an entrepreneur because my father struggled. We barely made rent payments. I was forced to grow up at a very young age and mature. And there was a sense of dysfunctionality to my family because of the money constraints that were caused. So I was like, I never want to be an entrepreneur. I never want to be in the vacuum business. So I was first generation college grad. I went to UMass Amherst and studied finance, which is something that my family was deficient in. And then I went onto Wall Street. I hated my life. My father had a vacuum business still running, and I was covering internet stocks. So I would tell institutional investors to buy, sell, or short, say Amazon. And I was helping my father on the side build this vacuum online business. And then when I got fired, I ended up helping my father even more. And that really got me started on this path that I'm on today.
That is fascinating. What a great Genesis story.
It's cool.
That is a cool story. But the very thing that like really got you going and that motivated you ended up doing, right? You ended up getting back and helping your dad. And are you doing that now still?
Well, things have changed, but my father passed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My e-commerce model evolved from reselling to making our own products online and selling it. So vacuum filters, coffee filters, air filters, cannabis filters, grow room filters. And then that evolved into building a software company, and then built a conference with 3 other people.
You built your father's company, his little vacuum company, into a software company?
Well, that was the genesis. It was like a planting of a seed, right? The seed grew larger. And essentially, I started incubating problems in that business. Those problems were genesis pain points of solutions that I started creating.
Yeah.
So I started creating a software company out of a pain I had. I started building an events business out of a pain I had. And now, using that same business, I'm building this pricing software out of a pain that I had.
Yeah, I know. I love it. I love what you're doing. So it's funny, Chad, because you're like, oh my God, I never want to be an entrepreneur. This is terrible. But you are. You can't even help it. You're just born that way.
Yeah. It's interesting how the fears that I had are now what I do for a living. Right. The fear of
Right.
like the fear of failure, the fear of not
Sure.
having anything, the fear of loss, the fear of being like my parents and not being able to pay rent are the very things that are the foundation that I think are very big parts of the success I have today.
Yeah, for sure. So, what are some of your most proudest moments?
Proudest moments as a business owner.
Sure.
Well, I think selling Skubana April of 21 was a very proud moment for me. I raised a lot of money. I wouldn't say a lot of money. I raised money from friends and family who I had to make sure we're whole, right? So there's a lot of pressure.
Mhm.
And it was sort of the magnum opus of my career, right? Where I built the software out of a pain, struggled, right? Like there was some high highs and some low lows, and was able to bring the plane home and land it safely where I maximized value for our investors and myself. And the closing call, the transactional call that we had was not the actual like moment, right? It was on the phone with bankers and lawyers, and there was no Zoom, there was no video. This is in 21. It should have been a video call, but I don't know. It was just a phone call. And I got home and I danced with my son and my wife, and we celebrated
That's
the
great.
closing of the deal. And like to me, that made it all worthwhile,
That's great.
special.
And that was, you've had four companies. You're on your fourth company now. Is that what you said?
Fourth company, yeah.
Well, congratulations. That was number three.
That was three. Yeah. And it was the best exit. It was also, I mean, I couldn't have timed it better. I mean, in 21, money was still very cheap. E-commerce exploded because of the
Mhm.
pandemic.
Right.
And so we were at
Right.
the right place at the right time
Good for
and
you.
sold at the right time.
Well done. Good for you. What about big mistakes, big
Ooh.
pitfalls, big mistakes you made?
I mean, you have a long time to discuss these
Right?
mistakes.
I know, but this is the best. This is people
Yeah.
love knowing this stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, so many mistakes. If you think about Skubana, I slugged it out for 7 years. It's like 2,000 days. And in that, you're building something and you're going to hurt people unintentionally.
Mhm.
You're going to make mistakes. And it's all about how do you pick up those fumbles that you make, right? And bring it home. So a lot of those mistakes, by the way, have turned into frameworks for my new business, like mental models to make sure that I don't make those same mistakes. And in that process, I'm making new mistakes. I'm happy to share some of these mistakes that I've made as frameworks for this business. I'm happy to go into some detail if you'd like.
Yeah.
So the first one would be I needed to be in the revenue stream. Like my last business, it was an ERP, which is an operational software. Think about if you're a lawyer or doctor, you must have some software that runs the back end,
Mhm.
and maybe it makes your life more efficient, or it saves you some time, or it's cost saving software. But I wanted to produce money making software. And to me, it's easier to have a go to market strategy. Sorry, my cat is bothering me. It's easier to have a go to market software and actually go to market and do outbound, whether it's mailers, whether it's phone calls, whether it's any lead gen, on something that helps people make more money versus save them money. So that was a big move. I'm now in the revenue stream with Profasee. The second was I wanted to have a large total available market. And in my previous company, I would say that we were squeezed between Shopify and NetSuite. in the e-commerce space, so I was being squeezed, and I wanted to be sort of like carve out individual, like no one else is doing what we're doing in the AI pricing space right now, and that gives us a pretty large market and a pretty large opportunity because there's nobody else in the space, right? It's like completely white ocean. Any questions on that so far? So far that's about two.
Yeah. So who are some of your mentors?
Well, I'm in an entrepreneur group. I think we talked about that.
Yeah, you were telling me you were just in Guatemala and
Mhm. And so I'm surrounding myself with there's 7 other people in the group. It's a small group, and it's highly potent. We meet once a month, and we help raise each
now,
other
when you
up.
say
And
it's highly potent, what does that mean?
it means that the people that are in the group are operating at another level where they might have some pattern recognition where they can help me or vice versa, and we help each other to elevate each other, both personally and business in business. So that group is formed through something called entrepreneur organization, which has been very impactful for me. So like I would say that this group is almost like a board for me, a board of directors. So that's one
They
place that I'm
hold you
getting.
accountable. They hold you
Oh,
accountable.
there's accountability.
Yeah.
Both from we have goal setting, we share very openly about our issues that we're having because sometimes, as you know, as being an entrepreneur, you go through something that a lot of people, most people, which are not entrepreneurs, don't quite understand.
Nope, they don't.
So it's really nice to have this group as a backbone to lean on when I'm going through stuff that I can share with other people that don't get it, right?
Right. Exactly. Well, it's a mastermind. It's a mastermind group.
It's like a mastermind, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly.
I'm read a lot. I read a lot of books to
Well,
learn.
so talk to me about some of the books that you've read. Like what are some books you recommend?
So many books to recommend. Let's see. Atomic Habits. I'm sure you've read that or heard of that before, which is about creating habits instead of goals and systems. I really like creating transformation and holy moment experiences. So there's a book called The Art of Gathering that I appreciate by Priya Parker. I mean, I've read so many books. Right now, I'm reading a book on self-help. It's holistic psychology. And it's called How to Do the Work, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And doing some more just like personal, heart-centered reflection.
Wow.
Shoe Dog is a great book. Page Turner. It's written by Phil Knight of Nike. I really love that book. That's a good start.
You're very chill, very calm. You got a lot going on. Very successful guy. How do you do it? Do you have like any kind of daily rituals that keep you centered?
It's interesting. Like I have friends who do like the morning routine, the morning, I forgot what they call it. So the morning, it's like the 5 a.m. wake up and you meditate and you read and you journal. And that was great. And now I have a child. I have a 3.5-year-old. So a lot of like morning rituals are out the window. And so I definitely always work out. I try to do some Wim Hof breath work for centering at least 3 times a week. And my ritual is I wake up, I try to wake up at 5, but sometimes I don't always do 5 a.m. wake up. If that's the case, then I just do breakfast with my son, 7 to 9, work out 9 to 10, and then I start my day. And at 4:30, but I try to do one self-love activity a week. Self-love.
Are you really consistent? Are you very good with your consistency?
Yeah, so I'm good with consistency for sure. A few things. My calendar is if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist. So everything is calendared. If I showed you my calendar, you'd be like, whoa, it might create some anxiety for you.
Right.
It's
Is it every little
intense.
detail?
Everything is carved out. And if it's not there, right, I essentially have my meeting with my virtual assistant who made sure to like touch base and find out how do we get rid of something so that I make time for these self-love initiatives.
Where are you at right now, Chad?
Florida.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You told me that.
Yeah. Yeah. I moved here during 2020. So it was an accidental move, but
Very nice.
was in New York for my whole life and then moved to Florida in November of 2020.
That's great. My brother, Chad, is in Florida too, in
Oh,
Tampa.
yeah?
That's
Oh,
great.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the state.
So we were talking earlier a little bit about AI. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about that with you because, you've embraced it, obviously, and we've embraced it. We're integrating it into our software platform. We have our own software, DSS, which is a CMS, CRM, and we're integrating AI into that. What are your thoughts to tell like lawyers and doctors about AI and the use of it and how they should be using AI?
Yeah, so I recently was on my boat and I had a cousin lawyer on the boat, and he had never seen ChatGPT before, and he was blown away. So it won't write briefs for you, but what it will do is actually does know case law. So he wanted me to put into it case law specific to New York around if your dog bites somebody else, who's responsible, citing case law. And my first attempt with my prompt didn't work. And then I crafted a different prompt and it did work because ChatGPT is trying to limit liability. So when I showed him, he was floored. He was blown away. Now, the big question that comes up for me is, well, if you're a lawyer and you're billing by hours, right? You're billing by hourly units to clients. If this saves time, do you pass on those savings to the customer? I think it's a really interesting question, right? Because like
It is, isn't it?
your prompt that you're creating in ChatGPT, which is your experience and you've engineered it, and it's helping you do your job faster. Should you be passing those savings on? I don't have an answer for that specifically, but it's an interesting thing to ponder and think about. I'm pretty sure most people are going to pass on those savings because you have to bill by hour. Now, the next question is like, well, is that the correct way to price your product? Are lawyers and should lawyers be pricing by hours any longer, or pricing based on the value that they're creating and the output that they're delivering to you?
Exactly. And that is really what the contingency based lawyers. So there's different, lawyers
Sure.
bill differently depending upon what kind of lawyer how they practice. Personal injury lawyers are contingency based, where they only get paid a percentage if they win.
Mm-hmm.
And that is more based on, just a flat percentage. But I love the idea of the value of what I bring to the table. You're paying, but that is really an hourly fee that needs to be determined. But
Right, but I'm saying is like pricing, like I'm in the pricing
interesting.
space, right? I'm in
Right,
the
I
pricing
know.
space. And so what I've noticed is that
How do you
pricing has
figure
been
that?
static for products on Amazon in a fast-paced marketplace. And we're changing the paradigm around pricing to be dynamic. And I'm questioning, and I think it's very important when you have a disruptive technology that comes to light and that changes industries, and it will change industries and it will continue to do so, you have to actually evolve with the space. And
You're right.
so perhaps this will open up a new opportunity to think about how you can actually adapt and change pricing to fit. For example, like ChatGPT can probably come up with a great brief for you and probably can do some legal work around precedent. But the prompts are only as good as the knowledge that you bring to the table. I think that's one thing. And secondly is ChatGPT won't be able to touch everything that you want in a brief, and you have to actually start adding it and identifying blind spots and updating the brief to improve it and make it better. And that takes time, but it's still going to take you less time to create that brief than you would have if you didn't have ChatGPT.
It only gets you so far. I mean, the AI is only going to get you so far. You're still going to, no matter what, there's still going to be a requirement for editing and for, is this accurate?
Well, I don't know. I want to challenge that, Tom. I think perhaps if we're in the first inning of AI, right? And there's
right. I know.
I think over time, right, it'll actually get better, and over time, right, we'll hit singularity, which is essentially the time that AI has a conscience and actually supersedes human intellect.
Skynet.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm using not only are we building our own proprietary models, but I'm using AI in all parts of my life right now, right? So like I have ChatGPT open. I have ChatGPT built into my Slack channel internally in my company. We automated the integration. We use LEAI, which is a Chrome extension that helps with the responses over email to craft better responses. So we're fully incorporated, and we're really stepping into AI and trying to give us a competitive edge over others that aren't using it right now.
I wonder if I'm really talking to Chad or an AI version of Chad.
Yeah. Well, there actually is a company called Character.ai.
And it's Synthesis or something like that?
Well, Synthesis is a video
where you
can...
Synthesis, yeah, that's it.
But Character.ai is super cool. You can actually go and try it out. They've trained a model around personalities. So you can actually go and have a dialogue with these different personalities that are all trained, and they all speak as if you're talking to, say, Joe Biden or Donald Trump or Elon Musk. It's pretty cool.
And you're right. What you said is so on par. We're only in the first inning. And it's in beta. We're just getting started here, man.
Totally.
Well, brother Chad, it has been a really nice talking to you and getting to know you and having you on my program.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So if somebody's interested in finding out more about Profasee or talking to you or getting to know you better, how would they do that?
My personal email address, chad@profasee.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, writing often, or Twitter, posting thoughts and encouraging community and banter.
Very good. And you know that it's partially AI that's doing that too.
I actually haven't figured out how to use ChatGPT and to write my posts for me yet. I haven't figured that out. Actually, it's missing some soul. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It is missing some soul. I noticed that too. I play around with it. I use it. It's fun. It's funny. It's funny what it does. It's fascinating, but yes, it's great. Well, Chad, thank you so much, brother. Nice to know you. Nice to meet you. I wish you the best to you and your family. And it's been wonderful having you. Everybody, you have a wonderful day. It's been Tom and Chad on the World of Marketing.